Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift regarding WWE, of course, the Royal Rumble, and even got a question regarding Wrestle Kingdom. So I know a lot of people out there have been wondering what I thought about the Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view. I will give my thoughts. Let's get started here with the first question from Bat Manager. Hey Aaron, do you think WWE will add a twist ending to the Royal Rumble and have the last two fall out of the ring at once? I doubt WWE would repeat the same exact finish that we've seen twice now. We saw at the 1994 Royal Rumble, Bret Hart and Lex Luger going out at the same time. And then in 2005, we saw the same finish with John Cena and Batista both going over at the same time. Although I guess if they do it once every 10 years, that would make sense. But I really feel WWE should not do that type of finish again, and I really hope they don't. I think that there should be a decisive winner, but it's always possible, especially now with Daniel Bryan back in the mix and WWE not sure what direction to go in for WrestleMania. I could very well see some sort of screwy finish where there's a disputed winner. Not sure how they would do it. I would hope that they would do something different from what we've seen in the past, but it wouldn't surprise me, let's just put it that way, that there's some kind of twist ending where we don't have a clear-cut winner, and WWE that way has more time to figure out what they want to do for WrestleMania, and they could see how fans react to Roman Reigns, and they can make a final decision after the Royal Rumble. So anything is possible. You cannot rule anything out. All right, this one comes from JKin62. Hey Aaron, two questions. Do you think it would be smart to have someone who WWE wants as a heel eliminate Daniel Bryan at the Rumble? And is there anyone Reigns can be in there with last that'll get him cheers or at least not booed out of the building? As far as Daniel Bryan goes, that is a way you could have him be eliminated, where somebody who is a rising heel in WWE can get the heat off of eliminating Daniel Bryan. That is certainly a possibility, but I fear that if Daniel Bryan's in the Rumble and he gets eliminated, the crowd, the moment he goes over the top, they're going to turn on the entire match. I think that that's a major concern, especially what happened last year at the Rumble. And as far as Reigns goes, I think you could put him in there with Big Show at the end. Big Show, I think, would be one of the few guys that fans would not cheer for. But then again, they might hate Reigns so much, they might reject the idea of him winning so much that they'll cheer anybody, and there's nobody that could get Reigns over as a face, including Big Show. If anything, Big Show would be turned face in that match because the fans are so much against the idea of Reigns winning. So I'm not really sure if there's anybody. I know if Reigns is going to be the winner of the Royal Rumble, WWE is going to try and do everything they can to avoid the crowd turning on him. So, as I've talked about in previous videos, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens at the Royal Rumble and what direction they go. And will they have a screw job finish, as I mentioned earlier? Will they have Daniel Bryan get eliminated by a top heel and then have Reigns somehow overcome the odds against somebody the fans don't like that much, like Big Show? There's a lot of different ways WWE can go. And as a fan, it has made the Royal Rumble more exciting because prior to Daniel Bryan returning, it was very clear that Roman Reigns was going to be winning the Rumble. But now, things are a little bit more up in the air and it's a little bit more unpredictable. All right, this next one comes from DJXHero123. Hey Aaron, would you agree that for WWE to make an effective babyface, it is good to make them a top heel first, being that it is easier to make the fans dislike someone rather than like them? Examples like Randy Orton, John Cena, Triple H, and Dolph Ziggler. I definitely feel that it's easier to be a heel than a babyface. When you're a heel, it's easy to get the heel heat, but it is more difficult to get the fans to cheer for you and be emotionally invested in you. And if you can get the fans behind you, then I think they're with you for life. They will always be behind you and they will always be supporting you. But you have to win over the fans. And when you're a heel, you can go out there, you can just say anything to be controversial and generate heat and get the people to boo you. But when you're a face, you have to be careful what you say. You have to go out there and you have to play the part and you have to convince the fans to get behind you. and it's definitely a challenge. But once the wrestlers are established as heels, the fans start to get into the character and they start to become emotionally invested, and that's the point when you can make them babyface. And we've seen time and time again with the examples you mentioned, guys like Cena, guys like Triple H. They establish themselves as heels, and then once the fans get behind the character, you can turn them babyface. But then again, when you start off as a babyface, sometimes the fans will reject it. And an example of that would be Rocky Maivia. He comes in, he gets shoved down people's throats as this clean-cut babyface, and the people reject him. So he has to change his character, go heel, and get himself over with the fans as a heel before they really truly respect him and get fully behind him. All right, this one comes from CM Bucks. Hey Aaron, what do you think of the tag team of Kidd and Cesaro? I'm fine with it. I mean, as I mentioned in the last video, I think it's good for both of them in a sense that at least they have a storyline and at least they're on television. It's better than both of them having nothing to do. And for the longest time, Tyson Kidd wasn't even on Raw, and now he's starting to become a regular again. So it's definitely a step up for him. Some would see it as a step down for Cesaro, but then again, it's better than him not being on Raw at all. At least they got something for him, and maybe the two of them can get some mic time. Maybe they can do something to shake things up a little bit, and they can be a successful tag team. I mean, time will definitely tell with that. Maybe they'll even get a chance at the tag team titles and maybe even become tag team champions if they can build up some momentum. All right, got this one from Jared Smith, 1994. Hey Aaron, what did you think of the West Texas Rednecks and the Filthy Animals from WCW? Big fan, keep up the good work. I was a huge fan of the West Texas Rednecks. I really liked that faction that Kurt Hennig put together in WCW, and the songs were just classic with Jimmy Hart writing those songs for them. That was one of the best WCW angles during that period in mid-1999. So, of course, when something is starting to get over in WCW, in typical fashion, they put the boots to it fairly quickly. And it was a shame because it was actually starting to get over, and then WCW just pulled the plug on it for whatever reason. And regarding the Filthy Animals, same thing. They were a good faction in WCW. I mean, not anything beyond the norm, but I mean, they did have some moments in WCW as a team. And, I do feel that Rey Mysterio lost some momentum after losing the mask. Him and Conan were doing well as a tag team, but once the Filthy Animals started up, I really felt that Rey got lost in the shuffle. So, I mean, the Filthy Animals was a good faction, but at the same time, I think it held back those guys a little bit and kept them from reaching the main event level. All right, final question here from Wrestling Do 95. Yo, Aaron, were you able to watch GFW Wrestle Kingdom 9? And if so, what were your thoughts on the pay-per-view event? Well, this show has gotten nothing but high praise from just about everybody. I did watch it, and I agree with what everybody has said. I really felt that from start to finish, it was an excellent show. You had solid wrestling from the first match to the main event. The two final matches were tremendous. I might butcher the names here, but I thought the best match was Nakamura against Ibushi. I think that's how you pronounce the names. That was an incredible match, and like some people have said, possible match of the year. I mean, those guys were just doing incredible things in the ring. The athleticism on this show was off the charts. I mean, it is as good as anything in the United States, and some would say it's even better. And you had a lot of variety. You had guys, you had high flyers, you had guys doing mat wrestling, you had the MMA element with guys doing the knee strikes and the elbows. So you had a variety. It was very athletic, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really strong show. And, it's hard for me because this was the first full Japanese pay-per-view event I've ever watched. I do feel that JR and Matt Striker did a very solid job on commentary, and that certainly helped for me as a first-time viewer of a New Japan pay-per-view. I felt that it was a very solid show, and I felt that Jim Ross and Matt Striker did a good job. So, if they do another pay-per-view like this with JR doing commentary, I mean, most likely I will check it out. And I highly recommend it to anybody out there. You should definitely watch it. I mean, why not give it a chance? If you've never watched New Japan, you should definitely give it a shot and see if you like it, especially if you're fed up with the current scene in the United States. It would be a good opportunity to invest in something else and maybe become a fan of it on a full-time basis. All right, so that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest in WWE, TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor. We're going to be having more coverage of those promotions in addition to the big two. If you want to call TNA number 2 at this point, I don't know. So stay tuned for all that, and I will see you guys next time.